As 2026 unfolds, the real estate market in Brazoria County is entering a period of meaningful change for investors and families. This chart shows the current average home value resting at $320,060, a slight decrease of 0.9% over the last 12 months. While price growth is cooling, the inventory of for sale units has climbed to an 8-month supply. In real estate, anything over 6 months is considered a buyer's market. This shift is confirmed by the time it takes to sell a property, which has increased to an average of 61 days. The high-pressure environment of the bidding war era has been replaced by a slower, more stable pace. This stability allows for a level of due diligence that was impossible just a few years ago, a window of time you must use to ensure a property is a long-term asset rather than a financial liability. For a land buyer, the most important details are often hidden beneath a beautiful landscape. Evaluating these tracts requires looking past the surface to understand the underlying trends in soil geology, flood risk, and regional infrastructure law. Achieving your goals for the land requires mastering this multidimensional checklist before the closing date. The first layer of the audit is the physical foundation. Brazoria County is dominated by deep, clayey soils like the Brazoria and Lake Charles series. Locally known as Gumbo clay, this soil acts like a sponge, swelling significantly when wet and shrinking during the hot Texas summer. This constant movement is the primary cause of foundation failure, capable of cracking concrete slabs and breaking underground pipes. To build on this soil, you should budget for an engineered post-tension slab or a deep pier and beam system that reaches below the clay's active zone. Because this clay is slowly permeable, traditional septic systems often fail to meet code, making an aerobic treatment unit, essentially a small-scale treatment plant, the standard for new estates. The second layer of the audit is water management, specifically regarding the updated 2026 FEMA flood maps. Since 2005, the county has required all new buildings to be elevated at least 2 feet above the base flood elevation, or 24 inches above the natural grade in lower risk zones. Recent storms like Hurricane Beryl have proven that these elevation requirements are critical for protecting your structures from coastal surge and river flooding. Investing in specialized foundations and site elevation protects the home from the elements and provides a long-term strategy for resilience. The third layer of the audit is land sovereignty, specifically the implementation of Bill 2038. This law allows property owners to petition to be released from a city's extraterritorial jurisdiction if they meet specific signature requirements. Successful release removes the land from city-level subdivision rules and building ordinances, giving you the final say over how the land is shaped. The trade-off for this autonomy is utility management. You must maintain health code setbacks, such as keeping a private water well 50 to 100 feet from your septic system. The fourth layer is the financial architecture of the land, specifically the 1D1 agricultural productivity valuation for tracts over 10 acres. This document defines requirements for an ag valuation, which taxes land based on productive capacity rather than market price. To qualify, you must meet intensity standards for your use, such as maintaining enough land to support at least 3 animal units. For cattle, that typically requires at least 9 acres of fenced, managed pasture to support the minimum livestock requirement. While this valuation can reduce your tax bill by 90%, failing to maintain the use or changing it for development can trigger a rollback tax for the last 3 years plus interest. The final layer of the audit is the mineral estate, which in Texas is the dominant estate. You should conduct a sovereign title search back to the original land grants to determine if the oil, gas, and mineral rights were reserved or severed from the surface. This search is vital in Brazoria County, where the port is deepening to 56 feet to host massive Neo-Panamax ships driving the local petrochemical industry. If the minerals are severed, you should work with a professional landman to negotiate a surface use agreement prior to purchase. This legal document provides the necessary protection to prevent an oil company from placing equipment on your surface without your consent. To navigate these variables, you can map your search based on your specific strategic goals. This quadrant represents buyers who prefer the convenience of connected city water and sewer lines and are comfortable adhering to municipal development codes. This area represents the path of total independence, leveraging ag exemptions and private utilities to build a self-sustaining estate. The 2026 landscape in Brazoria County rewards those who approach their land acquisition with a strategy for resilience. Managing the geological, legal, and financial variables of this county requires the application of advanced market analytics. Apply this strategic intelligence to your search. Contact the Legacy Group to identify properties that hold long-term value and secure your future in Brazoria County.